The diagnosis came when I was 24. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome type 3. A rare genetic connective tissue disorder that made my joints dislocate spontaneously, caused chronic pain and left me exhausted to the point of collapse. I was a biomedical engineer working at a pharmaceutical research lab when my body started falling apart. Your collagen production is defective, Dr. Amanda Pierce explained, showing me genetic test results. It affects every connective tissue in your body. There's no cure, but we can manage symptoms with physical therapy, pain management, and lifestyle modifications. You'll need ongoing medical care indefinitely. The costs were staggering: $60,000 annually for specialists, therapy, medications, and adaptive equipment. I had to leave my lab job and transition to consulting work from home. I called my parents that evening. Both were successful attorneys. Dad a partner at Morrison & Fletcher, Mom running her own practice. My brother Derek was 27, a medical resident at University Hospital, golden child who'd never struggled with anything. EDS. Mom's voice was skeptical. That sounds like one of those trendy diagnoses. Are you sure it's real? I have genetic testing confirming it. Genetic testing can show markers for lots of things. Doesn't mean you're actually sick. How do you feel right now? I'm in pain. My shoulder just dislocated this morning. Maybe you need to strengthen your muscles more. Have you been exercising? My joints ached. Exercise makes it worse. Dr. Pierce says. These rare disease specialists love to find zebras instead of horses. I think you're stressed from work and your body is reacting. When's the last time you took a real break? This isn't stress. My genetic collagen structure is abnormal. Well, your father and I are planning our annual summer party in July. You know how important networking is for the firm. We need you there looking healthy and capable, not making everything about some health condition. Derek called the next day. Mom says you're claiming you have some rare disease now? I have EDS. It's confirmed. I'm a medical resident. I've never seen a real case of EDS. It's usually just hypermobile people who are anxious. I have the hypermobility type, but it's severe. I dislocate joints multiple times a week. You're probably just double-jointed and focusing too much on normal aches and pains. Look, Mom and Dad's summer party is a big deal. All their legal contacts, judges, senior partners. Can you please just act normal for one evening? I might not be able to come. Standing for long periods triggers episodes. See? This is what I mean. You're already making excuses. This party is important for family image. Dad's up for managing partner. We need to show we're a successful, stable family. What my family didn't know was that my consulting work had evolved. After my diagnosis, I'd become obsessed with EDS research. I discovered there was virtually no funding for connective tissue disorders. They affected millions but were considered too rare for major pharmaceutical investment. So I started a foundation. The Connective Tissue Research Initiative. At first, it was small, fundraising from patient communities, organizing awareness campaigns. But I had engineering expertise and connections from my pharmaceutical work. Within 2 years, I'd secured partnerships with 3 major research institutions. By year 3, I'd attracted attention from tech billionaires interested in rare disease research. One donated $20 million. Then another $30 million. The foundation grew exponentially. By the time my parents' summer party rolled around, I was the executive director of a foundation managing over $100 million in research funding. We'd launched 5 clinical trials, funded 12 research labs, and built the largest patient registry for connective tissue disorders in the world. My family had no idea. They still thought I was barely surviving on consulting income. Build up. Over the months leading to the party, my condition worsened. I had multiple ER visits for dislocations. I started using a wheelchair part-time because my knees would give out unpredictably. I needed 4 fluids regularly due to dysautonomia complications. My parents called constantly, but only about the party. We need to finalize the guest list, Mom said during one call. 200 people are coming. Senior judges, law firm partners, potential clients. Very important for our reputation. Mom, I'm not sure I can attend. I've been having severe episodes. Oh, Sophia, not this again. You can't keep using your supposed illness as an excuse to avoid family obligations. Derek says most of what you describe is psychosomatic anyway. Derek is a second-year resident. Dr. Pierce is a geneticist who specializes in connective tissue disorders. Yes, but Derek actually went to medical school. He understands how the body works. He thinks you've convinced yourself you're sicker than you are. I have documented genetic mutations. Well, we've spent $12,000 on this party. Caterers, tent rental, musicians. You're going to be there and you're going to look presentable. No wheelchairs, no walking aids, no talking about being sick. Can you manage that? I started documenting everything after that call. Every dismissive conversation. Every time Derek told people I was faking for attention. Every email from my parents about hiding my medical equipment at the party. Meanwhile, the foundation was reaching a major milestone. We'd just secured a partnership with the National Institutes of Health for a landmark study on EDS treatments. The announcement was scheduled for July 15th, the same day as my parents' summer party. The press release would include my name as executive director, my photo, and the foundation's $100 million research portfolio. I said nothing to my family about it. The week before the party, Derek called. Mom says you're still planning to use a wheelchair? I need it for stability. My knees dislocate when I stand too long. You don't need it. You're just weak from not exercising enough. This is Dad's big night. He's announcing his managing partner position. Having his daughter show up in a wheelchair makes him look like he can't manage his own family. I have a genetic disorder. You have anxiety and poor muscle tone. Look, I'm bringing colleagues from the hospital, other residents, my program director. I've told them about my successful family. Can you please not embarrass me by acting like an invalid? Acting like an invalid? Derek, I have a documented disability. You have a diagnosis from a doctor who profits from rare disease claims. It's probably not even real. Just push through the pain for one evening. That's what successful people do. I showed these messages to Dr. Pierce at my next appointment. Your family is a medical resident? She asked, expression darkening. Second year. Internal medicine. And he's telling people EDS isn't real? He thinks I'm anxious and out of shape. You have confirmed genetic mutations on COL3A1. Your joint hypermobility score is 9 out of 9. Severe. You have documented organ complications. This isn't subjective. She paused. What does your brother think you do for work? He thinks I barely scrape by on consulting income. He has no idea about the foundation. The foundation managing $100 million in research funding? That foundation. That one. Dr. Pierce smiled slowly. The NIH announcement is the same day as their party? Same day. Same time actually. 6 p.m. Are you planning to tell them? I'm planning to let them find out naturally. Revelation. The summer party was exactly as pretentious as expected. 200 guests in expensive clothes, networking on my parents' sprawling lawn. Catered food, open bar, live jazz band. I arrived without my wheelchair knowing it would cause a scene. I'd taken extra pain medication and planned to leave early. Derek found me within 10 minutes. Thank God you look normal. Come meet my program director. He led me to a group of doctors in suits. This is my sister Sophia. She does some consulting work. Nice to meet you, the program director said. Derek speaks highly of his family. That's kind of him. Derek jumped in. Sophia's been dealing with some health anxiety lately, but she's managing it well. One of the residents looked sympathetic. Health anxiety is tough. Are you seeing someone? I see several specialists actually. Derek's face tightened. Sophia, they don't need to hear about. I see a geneticist, a cardiologist, a physical medicine specialist, and a pain management team. The program director looked concerned. That's quite a few specialists. Do you have a chronic condition? I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome type 3. Derek laughed nervously. She thinks she does. It's more likely just. I have genetic testing confirming COL3A1 mutations causing defective collagen synthesis. I interrupted. It's documented and peer-reviewed. One of the residents, a woman, spoke up. EDS? That's the connective tissue disorder, right? I just read a paper about a major research initiative getting NIH funding for clinical trials. Did you? I checked my phone casually. What was it called? Something about connective tissue research. Major funding, like unprecedented for rare diseases. Derek tried to change the subject. Sophia exaggerates her symptoms for attention. She's always been dramatic. Actually, I interrupted, still looking at my phone, The announcement you're thinking of is probably the Connective Tissue Research Initiative. The NIH partnership announcement goes live at 6 p.m. today. That's the one. Huge deal. 100 million in funding. Sophia, no one cares about some research thing, Derek said, irritated. We're talking about real medical practice, not? My phone buzzed. 6 p.m. The press release had gone live. Excuse me, I said, pulling up the announcement on my phone. I need to check something for work. The screen showed the press release. National Institutes of Health partners with Connective Tissue Research Initiative for landmark EDS study. $100 million research portfolio to fund clinical trials. Below it was my photo. Dr. Sophia Chin, Executive Director and founder of the Connective Tissue Research Initiative, will lead the collaborative effort. I turned the phone toward the group. This is the announcement you were talking about. The female resident leaned in. Wait. That's you. That's me. Derek grabbed my phone. What is this? Pi Foundation. I started it 3 years ago after my diagnosis. We've built the largest EDS research program in the world. The program director stared at the screen. You're the executive director of CTRI? We just submitted a grant application to your foundation. I know. I reviewed it personally. We'll be funding your dysautonomia study, $2 million over 3 years. Derek's face had gone white. You never said, you told us you did consulting. I do consulting. I consult with research institutions on connective tissue disorder studies. I also run a $100 million foundation funding the exact disease you've spent 6 months telling people I'm faking. Another resident pulled out his phone. Oh my God. She's presenting at the NIH conference next month. Keynote speaker. I confirmed. Speaking about EDS research priorities and patient-directed funding models. My parents had appeared, sensing something was wrong. What's going on here? Derek turned to them, still holding my phone. Did you know Sophia runs a major medical research foundation? What are you talking about? Mom asked. I took my phone back and pulled up the foundation website. Our logo, my bio, the research portfolio. This is what I've been doing for the past 3 years while you told me my disease was psychosomatic. Dad stared at the screen. $800 million? 112 million, actually. The press release rounded down. The program director looked between Derek and me. Wait, you're Dr. Chen's brother? The one who's been telling people EDS isn't real. I never said it wasn't real, I just said. You said I was faking for attention, I interrupted. Multiple times. To multiple people. Including your colleagues right here. One of the residents spoke up. Dr. Morrison, you told us last month that your sister was making up a rare disease for sympathy. I didn't say making up, I said exaggerating. You said she was anxious and out of shape, the female resident added. You laughed about it. The program director's expression had gone cold. Dr. Morrison, you've been publicly dismissing a confirmed genetic disorder that your sister not only has, but is leading global research efforts to treat? I didn't know about the foundation. But you knew about her diagnosis. You knew she'd seen specialists. And you told your colleagues at a teaching hospital that she was faking. My mother tried to intervene. This is a private family matter. Dr. Chin is a major figure in rare disease research, the program director said. Our hospital has applied for funding from her foundation. And her brother, one of our residents, has been publicly dismissing the disease she's working to treat. That's not private, that's a professional issue. Derek looked around at his colleagues, all staring at him with expressions ranging from shock to disgust. Sophia, you should have told me. Told you what? That I was sick. I did. That I had genetic testing. I did. That I needed medical equipment. I did. You told me I was faking for attention. I didn't know you were running a foundation. Because you assumed I was barely functional. You told people I was faking sick for money, Derek. Meanwhile, I was securing $100 million research partnerships. Resolution. The fallout was swift. Derek's program director pulled him aside for a serious conversation that lasted 30 minutes. By the time they returned to the party, several residents had already looked up my foundation, found articles about my work, and realized Derek had been systematically dismissing both his sister's illness and one of the leading researchers in the field. Within a week, Derek's position at University Hospital was under review. The ethics board examined his statements about EDS being fake and his public dismissal of genetic testing. They found that he'd been telling patients with hypermobility that their symptoms were anxiety, the same thing he'd told me. His fellowship application to cardiology was rejected. The program director wrote in his evaluation that Derek had demonstrated poor clinical judgment regarding genetic disorders and concerning dismissal of documented diagnoses. He ended up finishing residency at a community hospital. No fellowship, no prestigious cardiology career, no research opportunities. My parents called once, my father's voice tight. You humiliated Derek in front of his entire program. His career is derailed. Derek humiliated himself by telling medical colleagues that a confirmed genetic disorder was fake. You should have told us about the foundation. We could have supported you. I told you about my diagnosis hundreds of times. You told me to exercise more and stop being dramatic. The foundation was built despite you, not because of you. We're your family. You told me to hide my wheelchair at your party because it would embarrass you. You made me choose between accessing disability equipment and maintaining your family image. Neither parent has spoken to me since. The medical community's response was different. After the announcement, I received messages from dozens of EDS patients thanking me. Several researchers reached out to collaborate. The foundation's profile increased exponentially. Dr. Pierce told me that several teaching hospitals were now using my case, anonymized, as an example of how dismissing rare disease patients can have professional consequences. Your brother became the cautionary tale, she said. 6 months later, the foundation launched its first clinical trial. We enrolled 200 patients, including me, testing a new treatment for EDS complications. The research Derek had called fake was now potentially life-changing for millions. Derek sent one email. I hope destroying my career was worth it. I was trying to help you by encouraging you not to focus on being sick. I didn't respond. I'm 27 now. Still living with EDS, still managing daily pain and dislocations. But also running a foundation that's changing how connective tissue disorders are researched and treated. Speaking at conferences. Consulting with the NIH. Building a legacy that will outlast the pain. Derek's career was damaged because he dismissed documented genetic disease while claiming medical authority. He told colleagues his sister was faking a condition she was actually leading global research efforts to cure. The press release didn't destroy his career. His own statements did that. Statements made publicly to colleagues about a disease he never bothered to understand. My parents prioritized their party image over my disability. Derek prioritized his own assumptions over genetic evidence. They chose convenience over compassion, appearances over accuracy. The foundation logo that appeared on screens nationwide didn't lie. The $100 million research portfolio didn't exaggerate. The documented genetic mutations were real, serious, and worthy of the exact research I was funding. And unlike my family's opinions about my health, peer-reviewed genetic research doesn't care about summer parties or damaged egos.